Today we will tell you amazing facts about France. Let's get started. France is a beautiful, picturesque country, the beauty of which has been praised and continues to be praised by poets and artists from all over the world. High snowy mountains coexist here in a small area with warm subtropical regions. Charming light villages and provinces are almost in no way inferior to luxurious Paris. Centuries-old majestic castles keep the secrets of history. More than 80 million tourists come here every year. By the way, the country's population is 67 million. First fact. Charlemagne went down in history as a great ruler, king of the Franks and emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. It is interesting that he had a favorite, an elephant named Abul Abbas, presented to him by the Baghdad Caliph Harun al-Rashid. The emperor was fascinated by the animal and settled him in the royal garden, along with other unusual animals. Soon Karl began to take him on military campaigns. In one of them the elephant died while crossing the Rhine. Most likely, it was an infectious disease or poisoning. Second fact. The laziness of the French is legendary all over the world. Foreigners joke that a Frenchman will do whatever you ask if you contact him outside of the period from May 1st to August 31st, after 7 on Friday, on weekends, or between 1 and 2 o'clock on weekdays. Third fact. The French are very unhappy with their educational system. Free schools provide terrible conditions and are more like juvenile colonies, where most of the students do not even know French. Private schools are too expensive, costing at least €1,000 a year, and getting there is very difficult. Fourth fact. From the 16th to the 17th century, the French government, in order to replenish the treasury, was engaged in the sale of positions. Fifth fact. Throughout its history, France has levied almost unbearable taxes on the population. For example, during the reign of Louis XVI, before the start of the Great French Revolution, more than 1,000 tons of silver were collected from a population of 20 million. And this is provided that today the state budget of France is approximately 2,500 tons of silver. Sixth fact. French has long been considered the first language in the world. Important diplomatic negotiations were conducted on it, and the nobility of a number of European countries studied it along with their native language. At the same time, almost the entire population spoke patois, a mixture of Creole and English. Linguistic unification began only during the Great French Revolution. As a result, already in the 19th century the French spoke the same language. Seventh fact. France is the birthplace of the Templars. But King Philip the Handsome was their ardent opponent. According to legend, the head of the order, Jacques de Molay, cursed him, and soon the monarch died. But not only the soldiers of Christ fell into the disgrace of the king. The counts of Champagne held regular fairs in their estates, which in a short time became the largest trade point. But at the end of the 13th century, the last and childless count died. And Philip the Handsome instantly nullified the entire success of the fair. With high taxes, arrests of merchants, duties, bans, he deprived her of her previous income and recognition. Eighth fact. The French Chap brothers invented the optical telegraph and changed the life of Europe forever. By the beginning of the 19th century, their invention had spread almost throughout its territory. However, this created certain problems. In the 30s of the 19th century, a group of merchants for 2 years forged messages on the Bordeaux-Paris line. The crime was solved by accident. Ninth fact. Under Martin Aubry's law, the French work week is no more than 35 hours. By accepting it, the government counted on the creation of new jobs, but expectations were not met. Job growth has remained modest, and employers have had to raise wages, pay for vacations, provide meals and make compromises. The 10th fact. Today France can boast of a good healthcare system. Its principles. Each citizen gives 16% of his income to healthcare. This is enough for the treatment of minor diseases and injuries, but if the case is serious, then 75% of the treatment is paid by the state. Also, every Frenchman has health insurance, which is not expensive. However, there are also disadvantages. For example, very long queues for a specialist, which can last for months, or a huge amount of expensive drugs, which are not even always effective for treatment, but are actively prescribed by doctors. If the information was useful to you, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.